I don't know what is more alarming, the downhill spiral of a Lil Pump, the slow death of his career, or the fact that he, as a Hispanic young man, allowed a white man to call him Lil Pimp after just saying that he was one of the biggest superstars of the world. I don't know what's more alarming or entertaining. I do know that 2020 is bringing out the Clown Fest in full effect. I've seen 2 Chainz perform his song I'm Different or Different in front of Biden's campaign area. Everyone just looks like props. Everyone just looks like fools right now. They do. PSA, if you've already voted, I would really advise you to stay home over the next couple of days. I don't know what may happen or what may not happen. Regardless of who you voted for, just stay out of the nonsense, stay out of the trouble, because I expect some. So keep yourself safe and keep yourself at home if you can. Very little of this video is actually going to be about Lil Pump. I'm just using his face as an example of what people are willing to do when their careers are down the drain and their music has never spoken for itself. And it's a sad state of affairs when the music that you make cannot attract listeners. I know everyone right now is giving J. Cole his credit, but I don't think J. Cole saw this in the cards when he said in 5 years he's gonna be in love and hip hop. It's only been 2 years and he's already endorsing Trump. I think things are gonna get far worse from here. Now to the people that are saying, oh, it's his right to vote for whoever he wants to vote for and support and endorse whoever he wants to support. A week before the election is a little questionable. And sure, you have the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for, but as someone who's been watching Lil Pump for a while now, I don't think he's ever had a political opinion, and people saying it's his right to vote for whoever he chooses as a way to get out of defending why he's chosen now at this specific moment are really overlooking what people are actually noticing here. I don't even think Lil Pump realizes that after the election, most of the people that are calling him out now weren't even really seeing too much of a problem with what he was doing because he was quiet. Though they may not have been listening to his music, they weren't necessarily paying attention to him for anything negative. He's not gonna have many people on his side at all after this, so I hope the short-lived little spark that your career had in this moment of dead space was worth it. Because whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're Republican, we can all agree Lil Pump's music is just trash. And I don't think the conservative fans that may be backing you right now because you're backing Trump are going to continue on that wave if Trump gets elected beyond this point, and especially not if he loses. You have to keep this facade going, Lil Pumpernickel. You have to keep this persona going of being conservative, of learning more about policy, about being behind Trump. You got to adapt MAGA. You got to rename your album from Harvard Dropout to Trump Towers. Like, you gotta evolve. You gotta everything to keep that type of support. Lil Pump aside, I've seen tons of artists over the past few weeks say something about people that are voting and about people who aren't voting. What I would like to say to that, specifically more so to Big Shawn, is I don't really see a problem with people having a fear of voting. Yes, people fought for our right to vote. People fought for a ton of freedoms politically for us and socially for us, but at the same time, I don't think that fear of feeling like your vote doesn't count is going to go away just because people want you to vote. Outside of fear, I don't really think it's very beneficial to be angry with people for not wanting to participate in a system that historically has been against us for a very long time. So having social media platforms, artists who've never benefited you or your community in any substantial way come back and tell you to vote for one white man over the other white man, that doesn't really inspire much confidence. If I have to compromise who I would have voted for if different candidates or preferable candidates were available, how am I really taking a W? If you have a lack of faith in the voting system because this country has failed you and your family your entire life, I'm not going to be mad at you for not voting. I recommend all people exercise their right to do so, especially in this time, but if you decide not to, I'm not going to come down on you for it. Especially when both parties are using black faces primarily and other minorities to inspire the minority vote, promising their dedication to prioritizing equity in black neighborhoods as a privilege that black people should have to vote for as opposed to a right that we should have just as American citizens. Why is Ice Cube having a conversation with Donald Trump? Why is he the spokesman for an entire group of people, 40 million plus in an entire country? One rapper is the person that you bring in on this? A 20-something-year-old kid that talks about Gucci Gang in his music. That's the endorsement you want? The amount of black politicians, the amount of black activists that you could have got, but you choose high-profile rappers as opposed to black people that have done things for their community consistently. You mean to tell me it was easier to get in contact with Lil Pump, Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, as opposed to people like Maya Wiley, Esmeralda Simmons. Yeah, Lil Wayne definitely has more to say than a fucking civil rights attorney. If you weren't telling me to vote in the last term, the term before that, the term before that, I don't really need to hear your opinion on this politically. I don't. A lot of my people out there, a lot of us are gonna feel like, you know what? Even if the W in this instance is getting Trump out, I still feel like we take an L. So that's how I feel. In this country and the way it's treated people that look like you and I make me feel that way. And no amount of voting freedom is gonna make that go away overnight. No amount of less tinted orange in the White House is gonna make me feel that much better. Social media activists and these celebrities and these rappers who attach themselves to these political ideas at the last minute, try to sway your thoughts one way or the other. I have an extreme lack of respect for. Lil Pump isn't the only one, but he's one of the bigger examples that I can use, who's so desperate for clout and doesn't even understand that the platform that he had to endorse Trump is becoming even more brittle because people, whether they're Trump supporters or not, have an extreme lack of respect for inconsistency. Only one Lil Pump is fooling in this instance is himself. Just like a lot of the artists that come out last minute to support this party or this candidate or this candidate. You're all dumb. So I'm not saying don't vote. Exercise your rights. The thing about Lil Pump here that I think is extremely disrespectful is just how desperate it all feels. Yeah, we could talk about how easily he could be swayed to do things for clout because he feels irrelevant, but it's another thing to speak to the lack of purpose that you have, not even as an artist, but just as an overall human being, to be so easily swayed in one direction because you feel like you aren't being talked about as often. If you can be so easily swayed, that means you stand on absolutely nothing. You have no moral code, no set of guidelines that you're gonna follow, and flashing the opportunity of a little exposure in your face, not even direct hard cash, but a little exposure in your face will get you to throw yourself in front of the circus like the biggest clown on the earth at this level. While I try my best not to fall to one side of the political spectrum or the other, how easily the conservatives were to just welcome Pump was just embarrassing. Liberals easily welcoming Cardi B having a conversation with Biden and with Bernie Sanders isn't lost on me either. That was embarrassing too. How desperate these people are out of their admiration for Trump to endorse people they've probably never heard of just out of the thought that they support him too. Just by uttering any ounce of possible support or conversation with the man is a little embarrassing to me. I expected the dude who ratted his entire gang and like mess with kids, I expected that dude to try something like this before Lil Pump did. I love one of the reasons that Pump gave in his initial thought to support Trump was to say that like, oh, Biden's gonna raise all our taxes or whatnot. Who the fuck really believes Lil Pump even has any more money? You broke! You gotta make 17 more albums just for your label to recoup. And as a Hispanic, allowed a 70-year-old white man to, in front of his crowd of supporters, call him Lil Pimp and happily pranced on stage to say Trump 2070, nigga. I'm not J. Cole, but I don't think we're gonna have to wait 3 years for this dude to be on Love and Hip Hop. I don't even think he's gonna make Love and Hip Hop.